Energy and awakening. There is an energetic component to awakening, and for some, writings that corroborate their experiences can be helpful. When the mind has been recognized as dependently originated phenomena, it becomes less attractive to attention. It is seen as inert by virtue of having no valid claim to relational power. Seen by what? Nothing that can be seen. There is only seeing. When attention is liberated from the pull of relational content, there could appear the perception of the energy body, and then the relationship between thoughts and one's state becomes more apparent and the consequences of belief more acute. The mind with which there was identification was a shock absorber for the energy body. Without the buffer of identity, the price of delusion increases in feeling and becomes more immediate, creating an impetus to mindfulness. There is a relatively frequent prompting to question the self-nature of content, given delusion's palpable price. This is the blessedness of suffering. It can be a guide. When thoughts are unaccompanied by the belief that their subject is tangible and thus relational, they have no valid claims. What energy must then be disturbed on their behalf? So there is stillness of heart. Anything that can be called a self is both dependently originated and falls into the awareness it claims to be. The peace that's allowed by this ongoing realization conserves energy and precludes its transmutation to lower vibrational levels, as well as its being drawn to a lower position in the body. The energy rises. There becomes an experiential understanding of what pulls energy higher and lower in the form. Thoughts of the sacred identity cause pain when countervailed by circumstance. So recognition of the non-self nature of that frustrated persona allows for peace. The loss of ignorance defangs once sacredly held notions. And by sacred, it's not to say they were wholesome, but rather strongly regarded as self, to be protected as the flesh, which is the cause of dread. The idea of who I am and everything that's sacred to it is a mental Faraday cage, protecting in one sense, but it bumps up against a lot of things in the world. Unkempt energy with no conceptual self to contain it can be uncomfortable and problematic. It can send you running to the doctor or psychiatrist. If you read accounts of energetic awakenings, there are often physical symptoms. This is the direct consequence of unbuffered reactions to the difference between what is and what's held as sacred to the self. Once the energy body becomes palpable, the distance between reality and the mind's ideal has immediate consequences. It can no longer be floated on the mind's karma account. This is why certain spiritual practices come with a warning, as they may do things before the form can withstand them or there is the skill to manage. If delusion persists, there is no surrender, and with this resistance comes an energetic ravaging. When content is recognized as having teeth only because of delusion, its surrender to the perfection of the first cause allows space. That space is love. Lamentation's cause is prior to what you take yourself to be. You are nothing to own a thing. The balance point of energy is the spiritual heart. At the end of suffering, the truth of this moment reveals its bounty in terms of peace rather than novelty.